watching the award-winning GHS-TV, Germantown Community Television, your hometown news and information station. Welcome to another edition of Germantown Community Television's award-winning Access Together series. Informative, educational, and entertaining, our diverse programming lineup offers something unique for every viewer. Whether you want to keep up with the latest community news or learn how changes in the Mid-South and beyond affect us right here at home, these local programs keep the focus on you, the citizens of Germantown. Each show is hosted by a member of the community and produced using the students and facilities of Germantown High School's nationally renowned television station, GHS-TV. These programs are made possible through the combined efforts of the City of Germantown, Shelby County Schools, GHS-TV, and the Germantown Community Television Foundation. If you have any questions, comments, or program ideas, write us at the address on your screen or call 754-4788. You can also email us at ghstv17@aol.com. For more information about GHS-TV and our programming, visit us on the web at www.ghstv.org. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy the following presentation.
Welcome to Inspiring Leaders. I am your host, Donna Chandler Newman, Executive Director of Leadership Germantown. During each show, we will meet community leaders and examine how they are using their unique talents and skill sets to make a difference. We hope through our discussions to inspire others and to discover, to share their own leadership abilities for the overall betterment of our community. Today on our show, we will explore the arts, performing arts, and in particular, we will talk to leaders of one of our great community treasures, the Germantown Community Theater. In our very first segment, we will meet Brent Davis, Executive Producer of Germantown Community Theater, and we'll talk about the journey that's led from his volunteer activities at the theater to his current position as Executive Producer. And in our second segment, we will be joined by Bonnie Robinson, and she will discuss her various volunteer roles with Germantown Community Theater from its very early years through her roles today with both their guild and their board. And in our last segment, we will talk with Brian D. White, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Leadership Germantown, about Leadership Germantown itself and the upcoming events for the organization. And joining us now is Brent Davis, Executive Producer for Germantown Community Theater. Welcome, Brent.
Thank you, Donna. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you're with us today.
Absolutely.
You know, you have the most fascinating story of where you started with the theater and what led you to your position today. Tell us about that journey.
Gladly. It's really interesting what has transpired through time, because oftentimes we are faced with adversity, and then out of those we rise from the ashes and come around to another thing. But I started out with Germantown Community Theater when I first moved to Memphis back in 1994 as a way for me to meet new people in the community. And I was in a play called The Foreigner, and that particular production ended up winning Best Ensemble and Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Actor for that particular year in Memphis Theater. So it was nice that Germantown Community Theater got on the map with recognition through the community. But after that particular production, we reprised that show 2 other times, and it was wildly popular all times we did it. It had the majority of the same cast in each of the productions. But through time, I was in several other productions. I've done over 15 different shows out at GCT through the years, served on the board for a couple of years. I was the executive secretary on the executive committee, served on the marketing, special events. So through volunteering with acting as well as volunteering on the board, my time in the theater there volunteering has transpired into employment. Because of the passion that I have for the organization, whenever I was laid off from a job on March the 31st of 2009, when a lot of people were losing jobs, companies were downsizing, the economy was going in the tank, the very next day, oddly enough, April Fool's Day, I found out that the executive producer was resigning from the theater. And I thought, you know what, I've been on the board, I've been passionate about that theater for a number of years, and I wanted to have an opportunity to take a very negative situation for me and turn it into a positive. So after I picked up my ego a little bit off the floor, I contacted the board at the theater and said I wanted to put my name in the hat. And I think I had told you this in our previous conversation. I was about to turn 40, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with the second half of my life. And as luck would have it, I started the job on my 40th birthday.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So it was really a neat experience and a neat evolution for me personally, being able to give back something to an organization that's really done a lot for me personally. And it's been, for me, kind of like a tithe. To give back some of myself to that organization. So I've been really blessed.
Well, I would imagine when you put your name in the hat got a lot smaller, I would think. And I would think that choosing you would have been an easy sort of...
Do you know, I actually was not the first choice.
You're kidding. Hard to believe.
Well, like I said, it was one of the things that, particularly in the arts organizations at the time in the economy, and we're still in recovery mode nationally, as everybody's well aware, but they were really wanting to focus on development. And one of the things that I put in when I was talking with them was that I wanted to make sure that the community was becoming more aware of the organization, and that if we made people aware of us and we got people engaged and involved, that the money would follow.
Well, you're absolutely right. Visibility brings
and engagement and involvement, because
Mm-hmm.
don't we all become more willing to contribute to an organization when we're invested in it personally?
And in fact, there have been studies on that. That's absolutely
Absolutely.
true. My goodness. Well, and you know, I know that you have a small staff and they're not the ones out beating the bushes. You wear many, many, many hats, though. Tell me
Absolutely.
what all you do in that role.
Well, we talked about this in preparation for this interview today, that a lot of the other arts organizations in the community, some of our sister theaters in particular, Theater Memphis and Playhouse on the Square, have much larger staffs than we do,
Yes.
which they're blessed with the funding and the size of facility that they can do that. We also are blessed with our intimate space, because what we've discussed is the fact that me getting to do these multiple roles allows me to be more invested personally in the outcome and the results, and to have more creative control over some areas in partnering with people to see something through from beginning to end, which is great. So like, I'm in charge of marketing and development and producing the shows, which is involved in selecting the actual productions that we have, as well as working to get the creative team from the director to the lighting designer, sound designer, costumer, all those people that are involved, working in the community to get corporate sponsorships, personal donations, grant funding. So it's a lot of different things. I was able to use my background in corporate marketing and PR to help work on that capacity, but I learned a new skill set in grant writing in this process. So that's helped round me out personally as a business person and as someone who's working to make the arts community bigger and bolder and brighter.
You know, I'm from the corporate world too, and that grant writing is an interesting skill. I'm actually
really is.
learning it myself right now. It's quite the different way of writing and different way of expressing yourself.
It's so much about collaboration and creating the appropriate project that you know you can utilize your resources to manage effectively and to sustain it over time, because some of the grants are renewable, but a lot of it is about collaboration, about communication, and making sure that your processes are executed in a timely manner, and just seeing things through, calendaring them out.
So a lot of your fundraising would come from the grant writing and a lot from
Absolutely.
individual people. But I know that you also gain funds from the Arts Alliance, and who else?
Germantown Arts Alliance is one of our major funders. We also receive funding from the Tennessee Arts Commission, from Arts Memphis, and from the City of Germantown as well. The City of Germantown itself is responsible for helping to fund what is now the education and outreach programming that we took over from Morgan Woods Theater. So we've been running that for approximately 5 years now. So the City of Germantown helps fund that program through our Fun and Theater program, as well as Silver Stars, our all children's theater productions that we do in the summertime. We have a summer play series that we do, which is graciously being sponsored through a corporate donation from Payless Shoe Source. So we're excited about that opportunity.
Well, goodness gracious, it looks like you're touching everywhere. With the fundraising, though, I know that you produce a product, and your product, of course, is the play. All
Absolutely.
of those people collaborate to make the play. Tell us your latest play, because I know that we have some graphics on that.
Absolutely. The one that we have coming up running May 18th through June the 3rd is our our 2011-2012, which is our 40th season. We're ending the season with a comedy called Lend Me a Tenor by Ken Ludwig, and it was recently revived on Broadway in 2010. And the original production won several Tony Awards, and the revival was also nominated for many Tony Awards as well. So we've got a great cast on that. It is a hysterical play.
Well,
we're very excited about having it in.
All right, now, Brent, I want you to stay right there because we're
Absolutely.
going to be joined by one of your board members in a minute, okay? We're going to pause for a short break right now, and when we return, we'll be joined by Bonnie Robinson, Germantown Community Theater board member.
You can now watch your favorite Germantown community television shows from anywhere in the world. GHS-TV is streaming online, live 24/7. A viewing screen displays our channel just like you see on television. Simply visit our website at www.ghstv.org. So log on and enjoy hometown news from anywhere in the world, only at ghstv.org.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, Germantown Community Television, your hometown news and information station.
Welcome back. We're so pleased that Brent Davis, Germantown Community Theater's executive producer, continues his discussion with us, and we're delighted to be joined now by Bonnie Robinson, Germantown Community Theater board member. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you, Don. It's nice to be here.
Well, you know, I gotta say, I don't think Germantown Community board member actually sums it up. If I'm not mistaken, you've been executive producer, board member, guild member. What all have you done with the organization?
Well, I joined the Guild in 1984 when we moved here, just to get to meet people, kind of like Brent's story.
It's a good way.
Then I later became a board member, and then I became president of the board. And as I was going off as president of the board, we did not renew the contract for our executive producer. So the incoming president said, "Could you run the office for a couple of weeks?" I said,
Famous
"I
last
can
words.
certainly try." So for the next 5 years, I did do Brent's job, not as well as he, but I sat in that seat.
I was about to ask you, how's Brent doing?
Oh, he's just knocking everybody's socks off. He's doing a great job.
Bonnie's been my mentor. She's the person I learned everything I know from doing my job.
I was going to say, watching from the community and watching from other organizations where you've come to speak with us, I agree. I think he's, and don't get the big head on us,
Oh, no,
Brent.
thank you.
I think he's absolutely knocking our entire community socks off. That's a good thing.
He is, and he deserves many applauses, I think.
Accolades,
I appreciate
accolades,
that.
accolades for Brent.
Too kind. Stop. Now go on.
Well, you know, I'm really glad to see that. I'm glad to see the board and the executive producer doing so well together too. That's
Yes.
actually important to the group.
Well, part of that, again, is because of the way he communicates with us and
well-
inspires us, actually, to support him.
And his background too, having been on both sides of the fence, has got to help. You
Oh,
know,
yes.
It really. Tell me
But
about.
Bonnie knows that too.
Well, I'm sure because you've actually been.
Yes.
Which one am I talking to? You know, when you look at board members themselves, I know that you go through various selection processes for board members, and I know that you transition them in and out. Tell me what you're looking for with board members. I think you mentioned to me 3 W's. I think they were
Work, wealth, and wisdom.
Yeah.
But Bonnie and I were talking earlier. Tell them, Bonnie, about the membership angle.
Oh, when I first went on the board, one of the primary things you had to do was be a theater member. So we would go through the theater membership list to get our board members.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So,
Yeah.
and that shows that the interest is there. And then it's also helpful if they have a little bit of theater background or business background. We need the blend of the two on board.
Well, you really do, don't you? And you need
Yeah.
somebody who has some experience with it and, you know, ability to bring something to the table, right? And I think you shared with me too, Brent, that you also mix old and new, and you mix people who are older and younger, and
What
you know,
Bonnie and I had been talking about, because oddly enough, we're in a process where we're transitioning from one fiscal year to the next. So we're in the process now of selecting board members, and what I always look to Bonnie whenever we're doing those types of things, because she brings to the mix, with her experience of being a producer and her experience of being on the board, the knowledge and know-how of what makes it work, and getting the right people in who have a passion for the organization, a personal investment, because those things are very important to sustain your drive to be a part of the organization and do everything that a board member is required to do in helping the organization run, because I'm very dependent on those people as a resource, because we do have a small staff. So in order to fulfill all of the obligations of running the business operations, because we are a business and our product is the plays and productions and the education and outreach programming that we do.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the most interesting project that I saw you do over the last couple of years involved, I'm certain, your board, your guild, and a slew of volunteers, and that's your Project Purge and Project
Exactly.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
We had an opportunity in March of 2011, was it? I think in March of
that's true.
2011, we had an overabundance of gracious donations from people that have made up our cavernous props and scenic piece storage space in the theater. So we had recognized that a lot of those things needed to be purged out, and we were going to be doing some renovations to the theater. So before we were able to make the theater pretty, we had to go through the process of purging it out. So we were very blessed in the fact that we had over 100 volunteers come in over a 4-day process. Yes. The city of Germantown partnered with us really well, but we actually removed 4 30-yard dumpsters worth of 15 years of a collection of things. And what it made us become more aware of is the things that we really need to keep on site versus the things we need to keep off site in another facility, because we want to make sure that it's a safe and welcoming place for the community to be. And we're currently in the process of renovating our theater interior. We're going to be redoing our seats this summer, and the lighting and the wall space and light sconces, those types of things. So we're trying to give the place a facelift. We've already done the green room. We've gotten a new sound system and a new lighting system. We're reworking some of the things in our rehearsal hall as well, which is our public meeting space, as well as where we hold some of our events. So we're very blessed that we've had a large pool of volunteers that have assisted. And an organization like ours is dependent on board volunteer service, as well as the volunteers who act on stage, who build sets, who do costuming work, who help keep maintain the facility, do mailings, all kinds of different operations.
So your volunteers stepped up for your Purge and Pretty, and they
Yes.
step up every day for you, don't
Absolutely.
they?
Absolutely.
That's absolutely wonderful.
And again, Bonnie is a prime example of someone who gives of herself and of her time.
Constantly, and has continued to.
It's been a really good part of my life since we've moved here, so it's very, very good for me as well.
I'm sure, and certainly good for the community too. You know, at one point you talked about with me the value of a volunteer.
Yeah, it was interesting because as I was learning to work differently from a corporate environment where you had people there who were paid to do a job, and then you come into a volunteer arts organization that's nonprofit that doesn't have a lot of funding. We have over 400 volunteers that work through GCT during the course of a year. And it's about $19 an hour. So if we were to do a payroll at $19 an hour for all the people that come in, the many hours they do, it'd be a large chunk of change. So we're very graciously gifted with people's time and talent.
My goodness gracious. Well, and I'm certain that you welcome more time and talent anytime you can get it
Absolutely.
too. If you wanted to become a volunteer or get involved with the organization, how would you do that?
They can contact me directly at the theater, stop by the theater, visit our website at germantowncommunitytheater.org. We're also on Facebook, and just communicate with us in that way. Or like I said, just drop by. We'll be glad to put you to work.
That sounds perfect. Well, we thank you both for everything that you do. Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you for Germantown for bringing us Germantown Community Theater.
Thank you, Donna.
We're going to take a break, but be sure to stay with us, because when we return, we will be talking with Brian White about upcoming events for Leadership Germantown.
You've watched it over the span of 3 decades. We've dedicated ourselves to making it a fantastic community show, and the Alliance for Community Media has named GHS-TV's Crosstalk the best informational program in the country. From coverage of important area issues and events to conversations with high-profile local, national, and international personalities, Crosstalk keeps you informed and entertained. Don't miss Crosstalk, produced entirely by the students of Germantown High School. The news show airs each week only on Germantown Community Television, cable channel 17.
You may have seen Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure t-shirts, but most of what we do is much less visible. You probably won't ever see the hundreds of sites where our grants support breast cancer research. You won't see the free screenings we fund for thousands of low-income women. And you won't see our millions of volunteers working late into the night, all in the hope that one day you won't ever see breast cancer again.
Watching the award-winning GHS-TV, Germantown Community Television, your hometown news and information station.
I'm Donna Chandler Newman, your host, and you're watching Inspiring Leaders. Leadership Germantown is a nonprofit organization which exists to help cultivate leaders to step up and to make our community even better. And that's really the mission of our organization, Leadership Germantown, to build a better community, one leader at a time. Joining us now is the chairman of the board of directors of Leadership Germantown, Brian D. White. Brian,
hey,
welcome.
Thank you, Donna.
I'm glad you're with us today.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, you've taken out time from your busy schedule. I know you're the president and the owner of Century Financial, so thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to be here.
It's my pleasure.
I really appreciate that, and also for taking time to be chairman of the board of Leadership Germantown. You've had a big year.
It's a big year, but it's a joy to do it.
Is it really?
It really is.
Yeah?
It's an opportunity to work with great people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you surround yourself with great people, good things happen. We've got a lot of good things that have happened this year.
Yeah? Tell me some.
Well, the class, for example, the 20 candidates that we have is a fabulous group of individuals. With so many leadership capabilities, I'm learning from them every time we get together. And they have a graduation coming up this month on the 28th.
Do they?
And we're excited that they'll be completing this program this year.
That's good. So 20 more graduates for Leadership Germantown, bringing us to just over 400, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Graduation's always a lot of fun. I mean, are you looking forward to it?
I am looking forward to it. We get a chance to see their spouses come back together, and we get a chance to celebrate their success this year, and certainly they've had a lot of it. With the sessions that we've had, the friends that they've made, and the things that we've learned about our city in this year.
Well, and you're also going to have the opportunity to turn the gavel over to the new guy, right?
And I'm excited about that.
I understand that there's no better thing to say than I am past chairman of whatever, right?
It will be the gentleman coming behind me as very capable leader and a very capable person to lead our board, and I'm very excited for him.
Yes, and his name?
Todd
Proctor.
Todd Proctor.
We're looking forward to that too.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's going to do a fantastic job.
Well, even though you are stepping off of being chairman, you've got a big project still geared up and teed up for Leadership Germantown. Tell us about the big project that's looming in the September timeframe, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. I'm excited to tell you that we are working on developing a day set aside for leadership. And I'm not sure exactly what we're going to call it, but it's probably going to be a leadership summit. And in the leadership summit, we have 3 goals. Number 1 is to elevate our city and to elevate the importance that we place on leadership in our city. We have so many great leaders in positions in our city that we want to elevate them. We want to thank them for their positions of leadership and the great job they do. The second thing we want to do is to increase the awareness and the value of good leadership. Too often, I think we place very little value on good leaders, and they're hard to find and they're hard to cultivate. And the third thing we want to do is to bring together city and business professionals in an energetic format and to bring leadership to the forefront.
That sounds fabulous. So that's the summit.
That is the summit.
And so specifically, you see this happening in September.
We do.
And and apparently you're probably pretty close to a lot of things, but not ready quite to announce details.
I'm not yet. We do have a small group of people that are working very hard to make this happen. And we're going to soon be announcing some speakers and some very valuable information that I think is going to attract a lot of people who are going to want to participate in Leadership Summit. We've already talked to several companies that are willing to support it and back it, and we're excited about that as well.
So you have some sponsors in place.
Absolutely.
But still welcoming more.
Absolutely. And we believe it's going to be a great day for the city. We believe it's going to be a great day for our businesses in our city. And it's going to be a great time to recognize leadership.
Do you think that this is going to be an annual event?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question, but I sure would like for it to be an annual event that we take time to and set it aside to recognize leaders in our city.
Well, is the city behind this?
Yes, in fact, we have met with our city administrator who has said this is a good idea, and Patrick Lawton supports it, and we're excited that our city is behind it.
And we know that our mayor and aldermen are certainly behind it.
Absolutely. They are the leaders of our city, and so that's a great fit for them as well.
I think that's great. It's sometimes hard to step out and be a leader, and I know that this one is, you know, a brand new effort. And just, I mean, setting the vision itself had to be very difficult. What is it you want to accomplish? And then setting up the details behind that. So the strategy and the tactics are in place, and we thank you for that. And I want to thank you so much, by the way, for being such a wonderful chairman for Leadership Germantown for this past year. Thank you for your service for Leadership Germantown. Thank you for your service for the city of Germantown and our community.
It's my joy and my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.
And thank you for joining us for our first season of Inspiring Leaders. We appreciate all of our guests from this past year, and we look forward to next season on GHS-TV. If you'd like further information on our Leadership Germantown program, please call us or visit our website, leadershipgermantown.org. If you're interested in the air dates of Inspiring Leaders or any other shows on GHS-TV, look in the Germantown News for the programming schedule, or you can visit GHSTV.org, where we're also streaming live 24 hours a day. You can keep up with GHS-TV by visiting our website, and we hope you will like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thank you again for joining us, and please be sure to watch Inspiring Leaders again next season.